Welcome back to my channel. My name is Abby if you're new here, and today I'm going to be sharing 3 very valuable tips that you can use to make sure you don't get fired from your job. If you're new here, click the like button if this video is helpful to you, and also if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing because it really does help my channel grow. This video really is targeted to immigrants or anybody new to another country, and in this case this is Canada. As you guys know, I'm a Nigerian based in Edmonton, Canada. I'm a project manager or business analyst sometimes, and I just really want to share some tips that I have seen that I think would really help you to make sure you're integrating into Canada very well. So I was at work a few days ago when a friend of mine called me and she shared some really sad news. About 2 months ago, this particular friend of mine was super excited. She had called me, she needed a reference. It was at the last point of her job interview, and by all indications she was going to get the job. She was so happy, and I was also equally happy for her because she was going to be in my field, which is business analysis. I was very happy to do the reference for her, and she got the job. And so she calls me a few days ago and I'm asking her, oh, so how's the job going? How you doing? And then she shares this really sad news. She just got fired from her job. So this is a young lady who has not even been at that job for 6 weeks, and she just got fired. And to be honest, she's not the first person who's sharing this news with me. I also have another immigrant friend who had just gotten a job in Alberta as well, and a few weeks later she had been fired. And I was wondering, why is it that young women are smart enough to get the job, but you're just not staying on the job, you're all getting fired? So that was surprising to me, and I started talking to them. From our conversations, I learned that they were neglecting a really important piece. The tips I'm going to share with you right now. The first tip I would share with you is that when you get your job, the very first thing, on your first day really, it's orientation, right? So you're expected to go around, introduce yourself to your colleagues or your teammates. And this is with the assumption that your field is a professional field. So this is with the assumption that you'll be meeting people, you'll be working with people, you'll be touching base with customers. As long as you're in any fields that requires you to connect with people, these tips will be super helpful to you. So because Canada is very culturally and socially different from where we're coming from as immigrants, I think it's in our nature to be very reticent and hesitant to build relationships. So my tips, the very first tip I would tell you to do is build relationship. As a matter of fact, all my tips though, in one way or the other, they actually rely on the fact that you need to build relationships. So why would you listen to me, advise you? And I'll tell you why. So I told you before that I got a job working at Deloitte. Deloitte is one of the big 4 firms in the world. They are really good. And the reason they are good is because they spend a lot of time and a lot of money building relationships. How do they do that, you might want to ask me? And I'll give you a simple scenario. For my friend, when she got her job, the first thing she should have done is to book a time to sit and chat with your team members. And I don't mean collectively, I mean individually. You go around or you sit in front of your computer and then you start sending out calendar invitations to your team members. Now, what do these calendar invitations entail? These are coffee meetups or tea meetups or just connecting. So you send a 30-minute invitation to every member of your team, regardless of how big it is, regardless of how small it is. You send individualized invitations. So you just say, oh, hi, John. I was wondering if you'd have 30 minutes for us to sit down and to talk to each other, get to know each other. Your colleague replies, and then you guys go out. Why on earth should you even be interested in connecting with someone you don't know when you're just your first day at the job? I'll tell you why. Canadians hire more for fit. They don't care if you're the smartest person on earth. They don't care if you have 2 heads, your brain is your Albert Einstein. They really don't care. What they want to know is that, do you fit with our own weirdness? Everybody here is weird. So how best can you fit into our team? Are you willing to know us? Are you willing to form relationships with us? That's how Canadians actually think. So reaching out to John or Mary or whoever your team is, the first thing you want to really do is to get to know them. I'll give you a really good example, and I'll use my job now. When I got hired at my job, what I did was I sent out 30-minute invitations to different members of my team. I just called it Coffee with Abby. And when we went out for coffee, the first thing I said was like, I'm new here, I'm really excited to be here. I just wanted to get to know you, know how I can be of help to you. And then, you know, human beings, at our very nature, we like to talk about ourselves. So that very act of you telling your colleagues that, oh, I actually want to know you on a different level, I actually want to know you, it opens something up in them. You're not asking, let's be best buddies. You're not asking, let's be friends. Let's go to the pub when we're done work. You're not asking that. You're just asking that since we've become work family, I actually want to know you a little bit. And then you get to, they would share, people would say, oh, I actually moved here from Ontario. People would say, oh, I had a PhD in English. People would say, oh, I worked in Afghanistan. You get to learn a little bit about the people you work with. You get to understand what they actually cherish. I work with a colleague whose dog is everything. So when she comes to work, I just need to mention her dog, and I'm in her good book forever. So you get to know people on a different level, and you just sort of open yourself up to them. They also get to know you because they would also ask you feedback questions to you, and then I would always advise that you sort of introduce your personality. For example, I'm quite half and half. I'm extroverted, actually more. So I would say, oh, I'm quite extroverted. So if I'm yapping too much, please tell me to slow down. If I was introverted, I would say, I actually tend to be a little bit on the quiet side. So if I'm really quiet, I'm just trying to take in things. And then you can also say, so what are you working on right now? I would actually like to know how I can actually support you on this project, so that they begin to give you a little glimpse into the kind of work. And the only reason why they can open up to you is because you have shown a little bit of interest in who they are as a person. So number one, build relationships with your team members. Don't skip it, no matter what field you're in. It's coffee. You don't even have to drink coffee. You could go for tea, and you don't even have to drink tea. You can just go and sit down on the concourse somewhere or wherever. You could just go, a place where you can actually just talk to the next person. If you're afraid of saying, oh, I don't want to spend $2 or $3 on coffee with someone, Canadians are not like that. They don't expect you to pay. You pay for your tea, you pay for your coffee, and you sit down. If you choose not to, the person you're inviting will get a cup of coffee, and you guys will sit down and chat. So another very important group of people you should build relationships with are your supervisors or managers. And the reason why I say this is because a lot of people come here and they just think because they get hired, the person who's their supervisor is their God. That's not it. That person is just also a colleague of yours in a slightly higher position than you are. The reason why I would say you need to schedule a coffee meeting with this person, if not a coffee meeting, a meeting, you need to sit down and what are the expectations of me or in this job? What am I supposed to do? How would you categorize my success? What do you want me to do to actually make the project successful? Or how do you see me fitting in your team? And you might think this is the same thing you've answered when you were being recruited. No, it's not, because when you were at that stage, you were with HR. This is actually your team. So your supervisor begins to think, oh, okay, we're actually looking for someone who's going to support so-and-so person or support so-and-so project. So because the supervisor is already telling you what you're going to be doing, you're taking down notes so you know exactly how you'll be evaluated. So you tell them, oh, okay, is this what I'm going to be evaluated on? What are the metrics I should be thinking of so that I can get a good evaluation? These are things you should definitely do in your first week of starting a new job. Know exactly how you're going to be evaluated, how your performance will be evaluated and rated. Know exactly, so that at the end of the day, if you feel like you've done well and things are not matching, then you will say, sorry, excuse me, well, it's a different thing you're asking me for. The second thing I would tell you to do, so building relationships is the first thing you need to do once you start a new job. Relationships with your supervisors, relationships with your team members. The second thing you have to do is get oriented to the project. Now, this is very different. The first one, you were getting to know people. Now you're getting to know the project. So please, a lot of people start new jobs and they're afraid to ask questions. Please go around and say, I don't understand. And you know why you built relationships in the previous tip? So that you can ask them questions about the project. So obviously, I know they hire some people and they expect them to hit the ground running, but not everybody can just come and swoop in and hit the ground running. Some people take time to get orientated and understand what's supposed to be done. You need time to actually know where things are. So what you need to do is get to your team members and say, I am new in this project. What's going on right now? What's the next step? What needs to be done? And honestly, for my field of business analysis, there are a lot of things that not everybody has done. So nobody's expecting you to know everything. You need to be upfront with your team members who you've built relationships with and say, oh, I haven't actually used Jira before, or no, I haven't actually done it like that. Do you have any tips on how I can actually do that? So that when they point you in the right direction, you would use those tips to make sure you're fitting into your performance evaluation. Do you understand? So that you're doing the work. And obviously, the immigrant community is such a wide one. We're willing to help. So you just need to reach out to people who are in the same field as you are and tell them that I don't understand this. I haven't done that before. But first and foremost, your first resource are your team members. They will help you if you've opened up yourself to them. You can also ask if you can shadow one of your team members during a short period of time. So you can say, can I actually stay by you just so you can walk me through what I'm supposed to be doing? Or can you just show me where the templates are? Or is there anything you can give me, a guide that can help me in this particular project we're doing? Honestly, if you ask people for help, there's nobody that would actually say no though, so you just have to be willing to ask for help. The third tip I'm going to give you is something that is really specific to immigrants from developing countries or third world countries. So this tip would really help immigrants from these countries especially. And the tip is speak up. Open your mouth and speak up. The reason I say this would help developing country immigrants way more is because our countries are classified as high power distant country. So what that really means is that the way we react to authority and power is very different in a negative way. So in the face of authority, in the face of power, in the face of someone who has more money or someone who's older, we tend to keep quiet. So we keep quiet and we sort of assign them this disproportionate sort of respect. So we're quiet in the face of elders. You're like, oh, shut up, your elder is speaking. So we're quiet. In Canada, that's not the way things are done here. Canada is a very low power distant country. So when we immigrants from high power distant countries come here, we tend to come with that negative response to authority, which is to keep quiet. So we will sit down in team meetings here in Canada and we will keep quiet. The whole room will talk, but Nigerians will keep quiet when you have something to say. Even if you don't have anything to say, you can clarify. You can say, excuse me, are you saying that, oh, that requirement is actually what we want? Oh, I just want to be sure, is that what you're saying? It doesn't matter what you're saying. Let your voice be heard and make it a habit. I'm not saying just open your mouth every time, but sometimes you can say, oh, can you actually repeat that? I didn't get that. Can you actually say that? And let me tell you what it does. Just because if you're in a meeting, and I do it all the time, it's something I also struggle with, so which is why I'm sharing it with you, because I think it's really, really key. The next time you're in a meeting here in Canada, take a look around. All the Caucasians will speak. Majority of them will say something, even if it's just to say, oh, can you scroll back up on the PowerPoint? Or even if it's just to say, oh, give me 1 second, I'm not done reading. Or even if it's just to say, oh, I see, I agree with you, I concur. Almost all the Caucasians will say something. But Nigerians, aka me, I will keep quiet because I'm like, I'm the only one that does not have a mouth. So I think my most important advice to you is speak up, use your voice. And your voice doesn't necessarily mean you have to have an intelligent question. Canadians always say there's no dumb question. A lot of people say it, not just Canadians. People say there's no dumb question. Honestly, I feel like they are dumb questions, but who cares? You're asking. Ask the questions anyway, which is what people do here. So make sure you speak up at team meetings. Just let your voice be heard. If you have nothing to say, look at the PowerPoint slide and say, could you please I don't quite understand that. Even if you understand it, say it so that they will explain. What that does to people in the room is just to tell them that you're actually listening, you're actually part of the group. Do you understand? So don't just keep quiet at team meetings day after day after day after day after. I used to do that a lot, and while I was at Deloitte, a couple of people had told me, oh, you need to speak up though. We know you're always coming to tell us things you think later, but speak up in the meetings. While I was at my other job, they still told me again. So I know it's something that we struggle with as immigrants. And excuse me, I am very extroverted, but if I can't talk in meetings, imagine how much more introverts actually would respond. My advice for you is that, you really try to, it might be difficult, but try and make your voice heard in the workplace so that they associate you with a voice. I really think if you sort of practice these 3 things, there is no way you get fired at your job. If anything, you would find out that you are liking the people you work with more. Because, for example, if you don't really know the person you sit next to, the person you work with, you would hate to see the person in the morning. But once you know them to an extent, you can say hi without feeling bad. You can say help me without feeling bad. And once it's time for your performance evaluation, even if you're not a good employee, even if you're not competent, the fact that you have a very good working relationship with your team, competence is something that cannot be learned. There's this HR saying that says you can hire between the most competent person for the job and someone else who's really good with people. Who would they hire? Do you want to guess? They would always hire the person who's good with people because the job can be taught to anybody. So make sure you're exercising your strengthening your interpersonal skills. Make sure you're building these relationships. Make sure you're exercising your own voice and opinion. And hopefully that would help you to make sure you're keeping your jobs. It's not easy to get a job. You don't want to come and lose it after like 6 weeks. So yes, those are my 3 tips. If this video has been helpful to you, please click the like button and also subscribe and turn on post notifications so you guys will know when next I post a video. Your likes, your comments, your shares and subscribes definitely help my channel grow. So please do that. And thanks again for stopping by. Have a good day. Bye-bye.